The lottery ticket trembled in my hand, its numbers glowing like a cruel joke under the kitchen's flickering fluorescent light. $5 million. My wife, Clara, had won, and yet her face, pale and taut, held no joy, only a distant, glassy stare as she whispered, "I need more space." The words sliced through me, sharper than any knife, her voice a stranger's, hollow and cold. I stood frozen, the ticket slipping to the linoleum floor, my heart pounding like a drum in a silent room. Space. After 12 years of marriage, 2 kids, and a life stitched together with shared dreams, what did space mean? The kitchen smelled of burnt toast and Clara's lavender perfume, a scent that once comforted me, but now felt like a lie clinging to the air. I searched her hazel eyes, usually warm like autumn leaves, but they darted away, fixing on the chipped countertop. "Clara," I said, my voice cracking. "What's going on?" She didn't answer, just turned toward the sink, her shoulders hunched as if carrying a weight heavier than the fortune we'd just stumbled into. That night, I lay awake in our creaking bed, her side empty. She'd gone to clear her head, leaving me with the hum of the refrigerator and the relentless tick of the clock. My mind churned, replaying her words, her avoidance, the way her phone buzzed incessantly these past weeks, lighting up with messages she'd swipe away before I could see. I told myself it was nothing, stress, maybe, or the shock of the win. But doubt gnawed at me, a termite burrowing into the foundation of our life. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the blinds, casting jagged shadows across the living room. Clara sat on the couch, her hands twisting a dish towel, her wedding ring glinting like a taunt. "We need to talk," she said, her voice low, almost a whisper. My stomach lurched, but I nodded, sinking into the armchair across from her. The space between us felt like a canyon. "I've been thinking," she began, her eyes fixed on the floor, "about what this money means. Freedom. Choices." She paused, swallowing hard. "I haven't been happy, Tom. Not for a while." The words landed like a punch, stealing my breath. "Not happy?" I echoed, my voice hoarse. "Since when? Why didn't you say anything?" My mind raced, cataloging every late night she'd spent working, every time she'd pulled away from my touch, blaming exhaustion. Had I missed the signs, or had I chosen not to see them? She looked up, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I didn't know how to tell you. I thought maybe it would pass." Her voice broke, and for a moment, I wanted to cross the room, to hold her, to fix whatever had fractured. But then her phone buzzed again, and she flinched, her hand darting to silence it. That flinch, it was a confession, a crack in the facade. "Who's texting you?" I asked, my tone sharper than I intended. Her face flushed, and she mumbled something about work. But I wasn't a fool. Not anymore. "Clara," I said, leaning forward, my pulse hammering. "Who is it?" She stood abruptly, the dish towel falling to the floor. "It's nothing, Tom. Stop interrogating me." But her voice trembled, and her eyes betrayed her, guilt, fear, and something else. Defiance. I felt the ground shift beneath me, the life we'd built crumbling like sand. Over the next few days, the house became a battlefield of silence and suspicion. I noticed things I hadn't before. The faint scent of cologne on her scarf, unfamiliar, musky. The way she locked her phone with a new passcode. The late-night drives she took, claiming she needed air. Each clue was a splinter under my skin, painful but too small to justify accusation. I wanted to believe her, to cling to the woman who'd laughed with me over burnt pancakes, who'd cried in my arms when our son was born. But love and doubt are cruel bedfellows, and every night, I lay awake, imagining her with someone else, the thought a poison seeping into my veins. I started checking her phone when she showered, my hands shaking as I scrolled through her messages. Nothing concrete, but the absence of evidence felt like a trap. Then, one evening, as rain battered the windows, I found it, a receipt in her purse for a hotel I didn't recognize, dated last month. My heart stopped. The paper crinkled in my grip, the ink smudging under my thumb. A hotel. Not a conference, not a work trip. A hotel 10 miles from our home. I confronted her that night, the receipt trembling in my hand like the lottery ticket had days before. "What is this, Clara?" I demanded, my voice a raw wound. The kids were asleep upstairs, the house heavy with the storm's rhythm. She stood in the doorway, her hair damp from the rain, her face pale as moonlight. "It's not what you think," she said, but her voice lacked conviction, and her eyes wouldn't meet mine. "It was just a meeting. A client." "A client?" I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "At a hotel? At night? Don't lie to me, Clara. Not now." My chest ached, torn between rage and despair. I wanted her to deny it, to make it believable, to pull me back from the edge. She sank onto the couch, her hands covering her face. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered, and the world tilted. "It was a mistake, Tom. A stupid, selfish mistake." The confession hit like a tidal wave, drowning me in grief and fury. "Who?" I demanded, my voice shaking. "Who is he?" She didn't answer, but her silence was answer enough. I saw it all. The stolen moments, the lies, the betrayal woven into the fabric of our life while I'd been blind, trusting, loving her. I stumbled to the window, staring at the rain-slicked street, my reflection a ghost in the glass. "Why?" I asked, my voice barely audible. "Wasn't I enough?" She cried then, sobs racking her body, but I couldn't comfort her. Not when my own heart was shattering. "It wasn't about you," she said finally. "It was me. I felt trapped. The money, it made me realize I could leave, start over." The lottery, our supposed salvation, had become her escape plan. $5 million, and all it bought was the truth. She didn't love me anymore. Or maybe she never had. Not the way I'd loved her. I walked out into the rain, the cold soaking through my clothes, my shoes squelching in the mud. I didn't know where I was going. Only that I couldn't stay in that house, surrounded by her lies. My mind replayed every moment, her laughter, her touch, the promises we'd made, and I wondered how much of it had been real. Love had blinded me, but betrayal had opened my eyes. Days later, I found the final piece. A letter, tucked in her desk, addressed to me but never sent. "Tom," it began, "I'm sorry. I met him last year at work. It was nothing at first, but then it was everything. I don't know who I am anymore." The words blurred as my tears fell, but the last line burned into my soul. "I'm taking the money. I'm leaving. Forgive me." She was gone by morning, the house empty except for the echo of her absence. The lottery ticket lay on the kitchen counter, a cruel reminder of what we'd lost. $5 million, and it had cost me everything. My trust, my love, my future. As I stood there alone, the rain still falling outside, I realized the true betrayal wasn't just her affair. It was her choice to run, to take the money and leave me to pick up the pieces of a life I no longer recognized.